Is there some kind of hand squeeze too thing with him? Because he just keeps making me feel right now that this was a communication way or something. Candace, is your father passed?
Yeah.
Your husband? It would be important, like, for you to know that he would be with his mom, that they would be reunited. It starts to make me feel that relationship between father and mom would have been really significant. Do you understand about a closeness between your dad and his mom? Does that make sense to you?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Do you understand that, Lorraine?
Yes.
Your husband being close with his mother, and
Yes.
she just feels like she would have been a dedicated mother in some very important ways. And so for them to be back together, I would say, like, especially to you, Lorraine, that I have to let you know that it's really wonderful to be here and feel all this love. And I want you to know that piece, that I'm not alone. You've wondered that piece, like, is he alone? Where is he? He was here one moment and gone the next. So where did he go? And he just makes me feel like he's heard you wondering about that. And one of the things you want to come through is reassure you and say, I'm not alone. There's our family on the other side, and my mom was the first person, and you need to know that because you understood more about the relationship that he had with her. Do you get along well with his mom, Lorraine?
Yes.
She gives me really good vibes for you. And also really deep thanks for the way that you loved her son. And she makes me feel like this is one of the things that made her really happy for her son, because she always wanted him to be with someone who loved him the way that you loved him. I have, like, these deep thanks to you for the way that you cared for him when he got sick. He just makes me feel like there's some kind of necklace that would have been gifted to you, Lorraine. This makes me feel like it has to be about you. Sometimes when they bring through jewelry, you don't actually wear it very often, but you do wear it pretty often. Do you understand what I'm talking about right now? Okay.
Yep.
It feels like he would have gifted it to you before he passed, and now you wear it in memory of him a lot of the time. Was it an anniversary gift? Do you understand that?
Yes.
It's so weird for me when I have to look at you both and just say, I love you so much, but I do. I just feel like I love you so much. There's just so much heavy missing, and I know there's so much heavy missing, but the thing I want you to know is that I'm very present. I have to talk about grandchildren. Laureen, are you like the most dedicated grandmother ever?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. He's like, you're carrying the torch for us as grandparents to be able to be there. He just seems to want to talk about how great of a grandmother you are. So are there some grandchildren that you're present with on, like, a regular basis that you live near? Does that make sense
Yes.
to you? Okay.
Yes.
Because he makes me feel like what a blessing that you get to be so close to them on a regular basis. They get to grow up with that part of life. Do you tell them stories about him all the
Yep.
time?
Yes.
Okay. Because he really appreciates you telling stories to the kids where he feels like, I'm not there, but she says, here's the things that grandpa would have done. Here's the things that we used to do together. He just loves for you that you get to be present, loves that you keep his memory alive by telling stories. I feel like I'm seeing images that he would have spent, like, a significant time in the hospital. Do you understand that piece as well? Because
Yes.
he does show me himself in a hospital bed. And Lorene, I have to address you on this. It feels like you spent significant time in the hospital too. Were you sleeping there at certain times?
Yes.
Because he just makes me feel like I'm sitting in a chair that's very uncomfortable, staying the hours. And I feel like I have to look at you and just say, thank you so much for your devotion and the time that you spent and the time that you sat with me. He kind of makes me feel like he's trying to make us laugh a little bit right now and be like, wasn't that chair so effing uncomfortable? Like, I can't believe, there's something about you sitting there and, like, falling asleep in uncomfortable situations, and he's making me feel like it hurt your neck or something. Do you understand why he would be talking about this?
Yes.
He makes me feel like your neck was crinked one time after you slept there. When he says the stuff that you went through, you're thinking, well, what he was going through was worth that. But he would give acknowledgement for that not just any person would have sat there through the night. But he said you didn't want to leave because you didn't want to miss when he was going to pass as well. It makes me feel that there was a time where everybody knew when the time that he was going to pass was approaching. And so everybody tried to get together to have those final goodbyes. Do you understand that piece and why he would be bringing that up? Because he makes me feel like he wants to say, thank you for coming together and showing that kind of love, because he jokes about this a little bit. He's like, there's no convenient time to die. There's no convenient time to die. Everybody has to put their life on hold. I feel like I keep looking at you, Candace, where I'm like, it feels like you had to put things on hold, get a lot of logistics together, and just be like, I've got to be there for my dad. And I know that seems like so little to ask on your part because you loved him so much, but he doesn't think that that's a small thing. This was a beautiful send off that he really appreciates. There's a passing sometime within, like, the last 5 years. Does that make sense to you as well?
Yeah.
This feels like more recent to me. He keeps bringing me back to like chest area for him.
There was chest stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because I just feel like heavy up here. Like I can't quite get a good breath.
Yes, exactly.
Was there something hard to communicate before? Because being able to communicate at the end feels like it would have been really, really tricky. So you guys could say a lot of things to him, but he makes me feel like he couldn't say a lot of things back. Do you understand that piece? But
Yes.
he feels that you already knew how much he loved you before he passed, that there wasn't a question about that. I think he told you a lot during life, but more than that, I think he showed you a lot during life. Is there some kind of hand squeeze too thing with him? Because he just keeps making me feel right now that this was a communication way or something. It's just I feel so grateful for all the things that you said and told me and showered me with all these loving words. And then I can just feel my hand squeezing over and over again. And it makes me feel like I have to say to you, like, I understood everything. That worked. And so we got all the messages the way that we needed to. You know, don't worry about that. It's like I know about conversations you had after I passed, and I heard all the conversations that we had during too. And I wish I would have been able to voice things more, but I really was the kind of person who told you and showed you all the time. Yeah. Candace, he says, like the stories you tell about your dad, he likes that you share stories of him, and it makes me feel like it's something about a client's or a presentation. Do you understand why he would be saying that piece?
Yes.
Okay, because he makes me feel tons of pride, but he's like, when you tell those stories or you kind of say something, it's like, have you said, oh, I get this from my dad. I get this from my dad, right? So he just makes me feel like I feel like I see you giving a presentation or speaking somewhere, and he makes me feel like I'm present with you, but especially when you bring up stories of me, it's like I'm just right there. Because for me, I usually see people over a left shoulder. So I feel that kind of heat and stuff over your left shoulder or near like your cheek here, this kind of heat. If you sit there, you'll feel that. He just feels really present and really proud of your work. He says you just bring so much heart to what you do. And so the love that you had in your relationship with him is something that you bring into his work. And then you will reference him at times. And this has been a really powerful thing. And he's like, thank you for doing that. Like, thank you for helping me live on in that way. I love that. And you know that I love you so much. For you to have, Lorraine, like all the love that you have and all of the new life. He talks about like the new life with grandkids and how important that piece is. Not to let go of that piece. Candace, I don't know if you're one of those people who like really believes in signs, but he says you do. And then he shows me like you pointing out things to someone else, and it makes me feel like it's Lorraine. Do you understand that piece where she's like, that's dad, that's dad? Do you understand that piece? Because he's just like those to validate that those signs are real. I'm going to leave you ladies with his love, okay?
I love that he mentioned the squeezing hand thing, because that was always our thing. So at the end, he had some lung problems, and then he had a stroke, so he couldn't speak anymore.
Yeah.
And I would tell him, like, you know, squeeze my hand if you hear me. You know how much mom loves you. You know how much everybody. I went through the family, and he squeezed my hand every time.
Yeah.
Well, that's so neat. He came through about my work and stuff, and speaking is my thing.
Oh, okay.
Really doing some things to do that more, and he's part of my story of how I'm so grateful I got to say the things in my heart while he was alive, and how if I hadn't, I would have had deep regret. And so he's part of my speech, my story, you know. It's so reassuring just to know he's always there. I talk to him like every day, and to know that the squeezy hand thing blew my mind. So that's so special. Thank you so much.